welcome to Computer Security and Privacy. This is going to be the first video covering foundational principles. The materials in this presentation are based on the most excellent textbook, and the textbook that I use in the course, Management of Information Security, and it's by Michael E. Whitman and Herbert J. Matford. All right, so look, there we go. We've already crashed. We've got the Microsoft blue screen of death has already popped up. And this is actually okay, because you know what? This happens. This is what happens in the real world. Things happen. And in computer security, there are really three fundamental questions that you're trying to answer. What's normal? What's abnormal? And what do I do when something abnormal happens? So what's normal operations in my enterprise or business? What's abnormal within that environment? And especially if it's related to computer security or privacy. And then what should I do when something abnormal happens? That's what we're going to be talking about during this course. So without further interruptions from Microsoft, let's move forward and look at the agenda for this presentation. We're really going to cover just four things here. We're going to talk a little bit about the instructor, so you have a little bit of my background. We'll talk about the course, and we'll focus on what are the exams and assessments. In other words, where can you win or lose points in this particular course. And then finally, we'll get down to what are the course competencies. What are the lesson objectives that we're trying to accomplish in this first presentation. So those course competencies are going to cover the whole course. The lesson objectives are going to cover this particular lesson. And then we'll go ahead and finish this video up. All right, very good. So let's get into about the instructor. So, retired Army colonel, 27 years overall with service in Panama, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Lived about 5 years in Italy, lived in Korea. The first 5 years were jumping out of perfectly safe airplanes. Last 12 years, I was at West Point, where I started on the faculty, was converted to the evil side at some point, and became an administrator, and that's where I ended up retiring. That picture at the top there is actually in Afghanistan, and it's actually the last time I was had the fear of mortal death. If you look at that picture, that slide down to the left or right actually goes about 3,000 feet, and so if you slip and fall, you're going to fall to your death because you're not going to stop during that 3,000-foot fall, and it's about 8,000 down to the ground. So pretty, and the ribbons of rock there at the top are about anywhere from 18 inches to 3 feet across. Pretty scary stuff. The picture over there on the top right, that's my son Curtis and I in Iraq. We were actually stationed there at about the same time. I was over there helping build the national military academies in Afghanistan and Iraq. He was over there really as a medic, and if you've ever seen the movie Con Air with Nicolas Cage, he was the medic on that flight as it kind of flew around Iraq. Bottom picture is me and the family. So got a little bit of a perspective on me and my time in the Army. After the Army, I was the Vice Chancellor and Chief Information Officer for 6 years for the 36 public universities and colleges in Georgia. So Georgia State's one of those, Georgia Tech, UGA, so on and so forth. Currently, I serve as the Vice President and Chief Information Officer at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. And there I've got really two faculty appointments. One is as a professor in the Department of Computer Science at UAB, and then my second appointment is as a clinical professor at the J. Mac Robinson School of Business at Georgia State University. My underlying computer science degree, or PhD, is in computer security, and I've been busy in the field for the last 30 years or so. All right, let's look at contact information. As you can see here, we've got two email addresses, carverc@gsu.edu, or I said that wrong, didn't I? A mistake already. So ccarver@gsu.edu or carverc@uab.edu. Both of those work perfectly fine. They're both forwarded to the same email account, and it's the fastest way to reach me if you're trying to reach me with email. My cell phone number is listed there for you, 205-641-1822. Text messages are perfectly fine. If you call me, I'm not going to know who you are, so you will be Alien 4053, and I'm probably unlikely to answer the call. But texting me, if you just identify what course you're in and what your name is, then that's probably going to be the fastest way to respond other than email. My schedule is pretty full during the day, so from really about 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., but I'm generally available after hours. On weekends, I'm out on a golf course hitting a little ball around a really big field and telling absolutely terrible jokes while playing, but again, should be reachable as you need me. Finally, I'm in LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, so you can follow me in Twitter at CarverC, and for LinkedIn and Facebook, happy to connect. Again, at CarverC, just send me a request. All right, that's the contact information. The one thing I would mention is the slowest way to reach me, if you've just got a lot of time, is send me an email from within the learning management system. And the reason why is I can't respond back. I have to actually go log into that system to pull up your email and respond back, and that's kind of slow. So it's much better, and you're going to get much faster response if you go to one of the two email addresses listed here on this slide. Okay, good. Now you know how to reach me. Let's move forward and look about this course. So this is going to be a college-level course for non-computer scientists. I'm a computer scientist. My assumption is you're not a computer scientist. And we're going to be talking about security and privacy and security management. The intent is that you are not going to be programming in this course, so you don't need to know a programming language. If you want to geek out and do get into programming or talk about really geeky details about this, I'm happy to do so. We can get our geek on together. But the intent of the course is for non-computer scientists, and it's for you to be effective in a business setting. It's going to be a blended educational course, so we've got a lot of online material. There are actually more than 200 resources that are linked into the course. And in some cases, there's a classroom experience, and sometimes when I teach this, there's not a classroom experience. It's purely online. So it just depends. And then finally, the intent is to make you, as I previously mentioned, effective in a business setting. I want to make you aware of security and privacy as it affects business. I want to make you a superhero in that business setting where people stop and pause and listen to you when you talk about security and privacy. And I know that sounds a bit daunting, but it's not. You can do it if you've got the right model and you think about security the right way. Okay, having said that, let's look about now, what are you interested in learning? So I'd like you to take a pause. You can actually just pause the YouTube video and log into the learning management system. And then, why are you taking this course? What are you trying to learn? Go into the discussion board, either in Canvas or Brightspace, whatever the learning management system is, and go ahead and post what you're interested in, because I want to cover what you're interested in. I don't want to cover, what somebody else thinks is important. I'm interested in what you think is important. So anyway, go ahead and pause this YouTube video and go to the discussion boards, post something there. We'll talk about it if we have an in-class experience. If not, we'll discuss it on the discussion board. And let's move on to the next slide. So here's the course competency slide. And you're going to see these four things come up over and over again in the course. And especially this first one, this idea that you want to recognize and respond effectively to modern threats using the CNSS model is really an important competency. Okay? And this is sometimes referred to as the Macomber Cube, but it's this idea of every attack, modern, ancient, it doesn't matter. It fits into this model very nicely. I want you to be able to recognize the kind of attributes of the attack, and then that'll guide how do you respond effectively to that. The second is this idea of functioning effectively as a business leader within the spectrum of security and privacy. So again, it's this focus of being able to work within the workforce and to talk about security and privacy in a meaningful way. To do so, I think you've really got to be able to do two things. You need to be able to write a persuasive executive summary recommending a security solution, and you need to be create an effective decision brief using PowerPoint. So those will be part of our assessments as we're kind of going forward. Again, I want to mention we're going to come back to this over and over again. If you could see me in person, you'd see me stomping both feet. This is an important slide, and it's really tied to your assessments. You do this the right way, you're going to blow the quizzes away, you're going to blow the midterm away. If you know these four things, you're just going to excel in this course. All right, here are the course outcomes, blah, blah, blah.
This broadcast is being hacked by the Students for Equitable Grades Underground. Long live the A+, is our motto. Having hacked the professor's website, our proprietary and born-to-be-free predictive analytics software has revealed a shocking fact. The professor is actually telling the truth, well, mostly. But there is a hidden and evil twist that can threaten your A+. The quizzes and the midterm, which represent 50% of the course, come from the course material and the book and are linked to the first and second competency. Fair enough, Professor. The final, which represents 50% of the grade, comes from course competencies 3 and 4. It is not covered in the book and only sparsely in the course. How dare the professor threaten our coveted A+, and really, how dare he expect us to learn something? Join the Students for Equitable Grades Underground and defeat this diabolical professor and his evil scheme. Ask lots of questions about the final. Use Google, Bing, and other search providers to research what an executive summary and decision brief look like. Exploit the grading rubric which he foolishly provides ahead of time to determine where he is going to steal points from you. Submit early and beat the professor at his own game. We, the Students for Equitable Grades Underground. Long live the A+, return you to your professor's control.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's important, but these things enable really those competencies that I previously covered. And so you can spend some time reading that if you'd like to, but really focus on those kind of four competencies that I just talked about. All right, let's look at the exams and assessments that are associated with this course. So we've got 5 quizzes. Each quiz covers a different chapter, and actually we've got 6 quizzes, but I'm going to allow you to drop one of them, and it's really a basic knowledge check. These are going to be fill in the blank, true false, matching type questions. Students typically think this is the hardest part of the course. The questions are very difficult. They are open book, open note, open web, but closed collaboration for you to do the quizzes. The midterm is open right now. Oh, by the way, the quizzes, you have 1 hour to complete each of the quizzes, and they're typically 5 to 6 questions on each quiz. All right, the midterm. Midterm is going to be 4 short answer questions. Typically, students take 4 to 6 pages to do it. The midterm is not timed. It's open right now. You can go look at it right now and read the questions. It's not some surprise, and you can work on the questions as you move through the course. The first question is tied to Chapter 1, second question, Chapter 2, third question, Chapter 3, fourth question, Chapter 4. And there is a YouTube movie that talks about the midterm and how to do well on the midterm. I highly recommend that YouTube movie that looks at the midterm. Finally, there's the final exam. It really consists of 3 submissions. The first is an executive summary, which is a persuasive 2-page document. It's not 1 page, it's not 3, it's 2. And then there's a decision brief, and the format is listed in the course syllabus. You can go look at that. And then the third here, it says supporting material, but that's a misnomer. It's really not supporting material. It's a third persuasive argument in free-form format. You get to control the format. So anyway, that's worth about 50% of your grade, and cumulatively it's about 100%, all of that together. I would note, while the quizzes you only get to take them 1 time, the midterm and the final, you can take as many times as possible. I will grade it each time, and there's no penalty with that until we run out of time in the semester and I've got to submit the grades. So it's really a mentor-mentee or a master-apprentice model for doing the midterm and the final. All right, very good. Well, I think that brings us to all that we were going to cover for this particular video. Next movie, we're going to get into some key terms associated with the course and some key underlying principles associated, you might even say they're foundational principles associated with security and privacy. So keep studying hard, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.